80%, and this 80% is for 2 semesters. You have to get the average of the 2 semesters and record it. Understood or not? Now, the last point is 20 percentage points is attitude towards, this is for the whole year you have to take. And usually this attitude of the faculty can be measured in association with the deans or directors or principal's office only. It should be so carefully taken and so taken, and you have to measure this. For example, how the faculty is taking the leave, how the faculty is applying loss of pay, how the person is responding to the duties. For example, you are assigning a faculty an examination duty, but people are not accepting that. Or if you are giving some duty, examination duty, or some duty, this duty. So, and what are the complaints are there on the faculty? There may be academic complaints, there may be non-academic complaints. Some people may be looking after hostels, some people may be looking after administration, some people may be looking after so many other sports. So, whether these people are reacting to that, how they are reacting, all these things are assessed together, and this entire thing is assessed as 20 percentage points, and this is added to the previous 80%. Next. So you can see the total output, and now you can observe that previously we have taken for odd, you have to take the percentage points for even. Now you can see 5 people are there, and first person has got 67, second person has got 73, third person has got 77, 86, 86 like this. Okay. Now finally you may ask, what is the use of this percentage? What is the reason? Okay. Now the management or administration can decide, okay, up to 70% or 70% above, we will give incentive like this. Or if the person is having 80% above, I will give incentive like this. So that's why we call it as performance-based incentive. So increments will be there, that is time bound. Every year you will get increment. But the institution starts an incentive based on performance, and that performance is also technically taken, not just like that, okay, you are my friend, I will give some incentive. Not like that. So there must be proof for everything. If anyone asks, sir, why my percentage has reduced, the director or vice chancellor or principal has to answer it properly, and there should be proper record. Okay, thank you. Next. And I acknowledge my previous institutes, Engineering University of Technology and Management, Odisha, and my current institute, BITS, Visakhapatnam. We are also doing this, and administration and visiting officials always appreciate this because it's a tedious process. It's not that easy. Right. Thank you very much, sir. Next. These are the references. Next. Thank you. Any questions?
Actually, I am one of the session chairs. Thank you very much for invitation. We are going to listen to 7 papers, and we are running out of time. So I request the next participants to make the presentation within 7 minutes, and so that we can have 3 minutes for question and answer. For this paper, I would request we will take 1 question or 2 questions maximum.
Okay, can we take 1 question?
Yeah.
Don't lose the time. How does it, what exactly it has on the faculty?
Sir?
What exactly it has on the faculty? How they take it?
Yeah, we retained, sir.
Is negative or positive?
No. We got very good output. That's why we are very confident and we are very happy. So we worked in that particular area, very remote area. People used to stay only for 1 or 2 years only. Once they listened about these incentives and they are getting that, apart from regular increment, there is a performance-based incentive, and people are ready. And one more thing, I have forgotten to tell you, this year benchmark may be 70%. So you need not continue about the 70%. Next year you may increase the bar, 75. Next year you may increase the 70, 80, because people are getting more and more into that bracket. Yeah. So people are getting, and people are awarded for that, and we retain it. Yeah, which is an affiliated institute, and research is not the primary thing there. So if you introduce, very few people will be there. So it will affect the majority of the people. Now, if a university is there, if a research, major research is going on, you can introduce that component. It's up to you. This is our case study, we told. we can include.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Actually, we have this is a work we have done with two of our students. So they have been writing their thesis before that. It might be very interesting for us to have a look on that. So, and this is a very beautiful campus. You see, it's very green. I'll not talk about the campus. I'll come to the okay. So these are some of the backgrounds. That's why we know that this globalization is coming up. We know that people are interested to have more qualified people in the organizations. We have listening to Mr. Alisuddola now, just before. And he was talking about this importance, how we can find the people who could be more important for the organizations. And also we know that it's not only the managers we need to recruit, also we need to recruit the students as well. But how to attract those students and what is the role of the social media is becoming more important. Because you cannot only because we further talk about that it was before more one direction. The universities have been doing the add to the students, but it's more coming up now with the help of the social media that we need to have these two double directions, and also we need to have more relationships development with the students, because the students feel comfortable to come to that school, because you know that when the students are coming to some place, it's not only the education, it's also that the security, or maybe we can talk about this social environment in that place, environment also even this weather as well. You know, the Sweden, when I came to Sweden, this just 1 week before it was snowing in that place. And when I come here, it was 35 degrees centigrade. So you see the difference is about 40 degrees. So that's important. Can you move back? Next, please, it is coming up. So the purpose is very simple. How we can recruit students. What are the universities doing? How they use social media to connect with the students, and how we can follow it up. So we have looked at some of the social media, and we see we have interviewed about more than 10 universities in Sweden, and to have a look on that, how these universities use different social media to attract foreign students. Yes, please. Yes, we have then talked about the three questions, very simple questions we have asked. We looked on this, what is this media, and also we talked about this, what are the contents of this media, and how it is done by the universities. So you know, the things that's very simple questions we have asked, because this is exploratory study. This is quality study. We have done the interviews. So we'll have a look on this. Mr. President, how long time I have? 5 months, but it's a long time, you know. Yes, thank you very much. So I can relax now. Okay, can we move ahead, please? Yes, these are the things that we have done. It's not a big study. We have interviewed the international officers and equipment officers. We did the interviews face-to-face, and also we had also telephone interviews as well. And this is in Sweden we have about 20, I'm not sure, more than 20 universities in Sweden, and we have done it from the south to the north. And Sweden is very long. It's more than 2,000 kilometers. It's just like this, you know. From north to Sweden is 2,000 kilometers, or even more, I'm not sure. So what we have done, we have asked these different questions. We had different questions to them, and asked them to explain how they treat with the foreign students. Because you know that one thing that you recruit students, they're coming to you. And also the process is not finished. Also we use how they use these students as their references. When they go back to the country, how to talk about these things. And also, the students are not only concerned about this quality of the teaching, also even the environment, as I'm saying, that how the students are there, how they are accommodated. This place, many students, they have a problem to get the accommodation in the beginning, and that's a very big issue. If you come to a new country, you want to have a place to live in. That's very important. And many students, they leave the places because they don't have that. That's why in our schools, our places, they usually market the city as well, that how the city is ready to accommodate the students. But we try to do it on this through social media and exchange with the students. Yes, please go ahead. And also, these are I'm not going to talk about these things. That's what we have done. We have looked on this. Please go ahead. And these are the conclusions I cannot see from here. Because we have found that Facebook is the most convenient and the most used one. But also we see at the time, it's very difficult, it's changing all the time. The students, the schools, the students, they don't feel comfortable to use it. Yes, second one, please. And the second conclusion that we are going on Instagram. And it's important, and the relationship building, I'm saying that. Because it helps us to have these connections between this. A student will stay for maybe 2-3 years. And also, we want to keep this relationship with the students. They want some of the same, because they can move to the other new students will be interested to come to our places. That's the view of the many of the universities. And after that, we see also even this Instagram, and then YouTube also is coming up. And also, we talk about the content of these connections, communications. You know that Mr. Asafudullah, Anisudullah was saying that communication is the industry 4.0. It's coming up. And how we can have these communications, and we also need to have this content. And content, one could be also emotional content that you attract. That's something somebody you want to skiing, for example. That thing that what you can waiting for the students that can come to that place. And also, a few minutes, 1 minute.
1 minute.
Yes, 1 minute is 60 seconds. And also, then we see that even the content is emotional one, and also it must be on facts. And if you promise something, you have to deliver it. And you know in services marketing, you talk about this. If you talk many things and you don't stand with your promises, then it becomes very difficult. I think I have a last conclusion here. And also, yes, I think it's also this the saying that it must be very much focused on this practical things that you want to offer. So we need a combination between these two, the emotional one and what you offer and what you have promised. And the students are very careful about these things. Thank you very much. I will answer the questions in small questions. Thank you.
Let us go on with 2 questions because we are running out of time. I'm extremely sorry for that. So, yes, please.
Actually, I was wondering why social media is important here for recruiting students in the universities. I didn't get this point.
Yes, you know that the use of this digitalization, computerization is coming up. And the students, young people, so they all communicated with the computers, digitalization, everything.
So, what component did you measure? So, in the social media, lots of issues are there. So,
Yes.
in case of university admission or recruitment, so what component did you measure to recruit?
Yes, we have been looking on this because we said that it's a very simple explorative study, this one. We have not measured anything. We have just tried to see that what is the training of the universities, how they use the social media in attracting foreign students coming to the schools. That we have only looked on these issues. And then we have looked on 3 issues. that what are the social media they use, number one. Number two, how they use this content, should be the content, and what is the way they how to communicate with the students. That's we have measured, but only with the social media, no traditional ads. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shifat Manjur from Bragg Business School, Bragg University. So I just graduated in last year. So I have actually desired to go for abroad education. So most of us, like just completed his graduation or about to be graduate, they wanted to pursue the abroad education. So my topic is Bangladeshi students and their families' willingness to study abroad and the factors those are influencing them. So as I mentioned that we actually want to pursue the abroad education. So there are some factors which actually diverse us or actually pursue us that we need to go for abroad education. My objective is for this research is to get an idea that Bangladeshi students actually finding the factors, as I mentioned before, and the link between the factors and those demographic factors most importantly. I use secondary data, some scholars' papers, and also my primary data was from an online survey. I just collected the surveys from Google form and by the Google form and some face-to-face surveys also. And my population was from 18 to 45 age people. I got most responses from the young age people who are 18 to 35 and these age group people, and also people who had actually proper internet access, they actually participate. And the sample was collected for the non-probability sampling because the exact population was unknown to me. These are the types of questions. I perhaps skip this. I actually used the SPSS, IBM SPSS for analyzing those results. So my first question was, there are many questions, but I actually collected answers from 14 questions, but I put only the answers which relate to my topic, which degree they want to pursue. Most of them answered the post-graduation degree, and some of them wanted to go for PhD and others. Another question was asked, that was the family income of them and their family. So it was around 74% people said their family income is monthly 35,000 to 50,000 taka per month. So mostly these people in our country is, we can say, middle income family, and from those people actually, students actually want to pursue the abroad education. My another question was which factors actually motivate them to go abroad. They mostly answered the future job opportunity in the home country, not in that country, but they want to return back in Bangladesh and they want to participate, they want to build their career in Bangladesh. And I also asked another question, does the ranking of university do matters for study abroad? Obviously it matters, because in Bangladesh now the education is very improving. And also I asked another question, that which source they actually, which credible source they actually want to get the information about the knowledge. they say the university website, because most of the students say the agents of different university or some educational consultants in Bangladesh, they actually sometimes it may make fraudulence to them, because I talked some face-to-face interviews. Some of the students say their cousins, their brothers, they went to university, they got some other amount of money, they got other fees, but when they went to abroad, they actually faces a lot of problems because of the high charges. So to conclude, I want to mention that the factors actually, which are demographic factors mostly, the incomes of the families, that actually measures that what would be which university they will go for, and which university they will pursue, and the session fee of those university also important, and the living cost also important, because in Bangladesh most of us are from middle income family. So though we would have the desire to go abroad education, but still that factors actually motivate for us. So thank you. Also, I want to add some recommendations thing that if people or students take some international degrees, some certificates, and also if they publish some journals, papers, then it will get helpful for them to get scholarship. And that's all. Thank you. If there are any questions, you can ask.
Any question? Let us take two questions. Yes.
One of the key challenges for the industrial revolution for us, like nowadays we are focusing on learning, not on study. So the researchers repeatedly suggest that we should focus on learning, not studying. And that leads, you see, you can learn from here, you don't need to go to abroad. There are lots of moves like consensus. So do you think these would create negative impacts to students to going abroad?
Sir, I don't think, because obviously we are global citizen right now, right? So we do have internet, Google in our hands. We can learn from anywhere, but you cannot just keep the conventional minds. If you just take the degree from abroad, you will get job easily in Bangladesh. As I mentioned, that these people, my research says, they want to came back in Bangladesh for their to build their career. So for that reason, I actually want to mention that you can learn from anywhere, but for the degrees, people actually.
Do you think this intention will change in future?
Yeah, definitely, sir. Definitely it will
Yeah.
change.
The young man, okay.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah.
So my question is, you are saying that going abroad and study there and then come back in our country, Bangladesh, and work in here. But the marketplace or the idea of the abroad syllabus and our country perspectives is really different. If you can do any kind of business and study here, so what's your suggestion there for their for abroad idea you can implement in Bangladesh and for market also?
The marketplace, if you just compare to abroad job market or the production market, in Bangladesh it's totally different. Not totally different. I must say it's actually growth of Bangladesh is booming. But when you say the students, if they come to from abroad, they could actually practice those experiences that they learn from their abroad education. So, yeah.
do you think the people of Bangladesh, they can accept very equally for the new culture, new style, or their business idea, or some kind of?
Yeah, people are accepting right now. If you see a lot of organizations in Bangladesh, they are actually taking those global atmosphere. The job markets are actually accepting
The
right
answer
now.
is according to your research and statistic.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can go for the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Shifa. Now I'd like to call the next paper, 0453, ensuring quality of higher education in tertiary level. Quality education. Quality education means if an institution provide education with latest pattern and latest method alongside concentrating on extracurricular activities. Quality education can ensure student satisfaction and it will help them to compete in the job market. Without quality education, no nation basically progress on economically, socially, politically or culturally. Objectives of our study, the broad objective is that to find out the relationship between the quality of higher education and the most important factors to measure the significance level of the factors on for tertiary education, and specific objectives are to find out the most important factors of higher quality education, to measure the effectiveness of each factors and to recommend some policies to ensure the quality of higher education for Bangladesh. For preparing this paper, we have been reviewed many national and international papers, but no paper basically focused on the relationship between the quality of higher education and the most important factors to measure the significance level. So through this paper, we are trying to redress the gap. This is our methodology for preparing this paper. The researchers have been collected primary data from different private universities of Dhaka city on the month of October and November 2018, and both qualitative and quantitative approach have been used. The total private universities in Dhaka cities have been divided into two broad categories. The first one is the high ranking university. According to UGC, the top ranking universities in 2019 are like those Break University, Independent University, North-South University and others. And the second category, the rest of the other universities. And the primary data have been collected like as Break University, North-South University, South-East University, East-West University and etc. The random sampling techniques was used, and we collected primary data from two major respondents of private universities. One is the faculty member and another was the students of private university. And here we applied a formula for calculating sample size, EMNE 1967. And after putting this formula, we got the sample size is 399. 5-point Likert scale method have been used for collecting the primary data, where 5 indicate strongly agree, 4 agree, 3 moderate, 2 disagree, and 1 strongly disagree. Here we have been used SPSS 20 version, and we did factor analysis, correlation, regression analysis, and we took 35 independent variables. Quality of higher education treated as a dependent variable, and we want to link this with the 35 independent variables. This is our regression model. This is my part. Thank you to all to hear me. Now I am inviting Asha Ashraf, the second presenter.
Thank you, Nasreen Anwar Khan, for your nice presentation. I am continuing the presentation. I am presenting the analysis and the interpretation part. The analysis and the interpretation part of the study has been divided into two divisions. First one is factor analysis and the second one is multiple regression analysis. Factor analysis to reduce the items to impact factors related to the impaired quality of education. And multiple division analysis is used to identify the significant factors that affect the quality of education. And the factor analysis, was done to identify the factors relating to the quality of education and identify 7 number of factors that affect the quality of higher education in private universities of Bangladesh. And the most important factors are, according to respondents, recruitment and promotional policy should be fair, that explained 34.39% variance explained. And the second factor is university should have specific vision, mission and objective, that is 6.03% of the variance explained. And the third factor is teaching and assessment strategy should be clearly listed in the curriculum, and curriculum load should be optimum, that is 4.23% of the variance explained. And the fourth factor is website and modern device should be updated, that is 3.64%. And the logistics support should be sufficient, that is 3.54%. And assessment system should be reviewed at regular intervals, that is 3.28%. And the last one is lesson plan and course outline will be provided to the student in advance, that is 3.04% variance explained. And here is our model summary. You can find out that R is 99.9%. That indicate that the identified factor explain or represent about 99.9% of the dependent variable. And here is our R square is 0.997. That indicate that independent variables can explain 99.7% of the variability of dependent variable. And here analysis result find out that independent variable is statistically significant to predict the dependent variable at 5% level of significance. And here is our unstandardized coefficient table. Unstandardized coefficient table indicate how much the dependent variable varies within independent variable when all other independent variable held constant. You can find out that our first policy represent or influence 59.5% of quality education, and the least important factor is 8.1% that affect the quality of higher education. And here is our revision model. The quality of higher education is dependent variable, and from 35 variables we find out 7 important factors that affect the quality of higher education. So that's all of me. I'm requesting Karishma to continue the presentation.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Aisha Ashraf. I'm Karishma Anjal. Assalamu alaikum. Now I'm continuing my part. The researchers have lots of findings, but here I'm presenting a few of them. The recruitment and promotional policy should be fair for academic and non-academic staffs. Academic and non-academic staffs should have opportunities to take part in skill development programs. University should provide sufficient research facilities to teachers and students for a smooth running their research, and teaching and assessment strategy should be clearly stated in the curriculum, and curriculum load should be optimum. And with the help of the research papers, some important factors can be considered for the further research that researchers do not consider. The important teachers' attitude-related factors like as teachers' willingness and guidance to meet the individual students' need. And delivery-related factors of teachers such as highly effective presentation technique in class by the teachers, and do not take administration and alumni as the respondents which have great impact on this study. Future educational research can consider these other factors. And now going to the concluding part, there is a need to introduce proper policy in order to minimize the problems that are prevailing in the higher education system. For this, it is recurred to the joint effort of government, civil society and university authority in collaboratively. After that study, I'm just giving some recommendations that teaching and assessment strategy should be clearly stated in the curriculum, and curriculum load should be optimum. Recruitment and promotional policy should be fair for academic and non-academic staffs. The syllabus needs to be reviewed after 2 and 3 years. The assessment system should be fair and transparent so that the student will get immediate feedback. Pedagogy training for the faculty member is required for developing and implementing of outcome-based curriculum at the department. For increasing problem-solving capability of student, the questions of her order assessment should be included. 20% of the lectures of each course should be conducted by industry or corporate expert. Best Teachers Award Best Researcher Award, Best Fund Hunter Award, and Teacher Service Award may be introduced. Students should be encouraged to present paper and involved in some research activities as assistant to the teachers. The university should have a library and e-library with sufficient reading materials. These are all references, and thank you. Thanks for patience, and thanks to the organizer who arranged such a wonderful conference, and thanks all of you.
Thank you. Actually, due to time constraint, I have been requested to take not more than one question. So I'm sorry for that, but again, I would like to say you that you can always ask question after the session, during tea, during lunch. So one question from this side, I'd like to request you to make your question. Anyone from this side? Okay, if not, so you can. Okay, one question.
So in your recommendation, you have said that like the institute or the universities can take so many steps to ensure quality in higher education. So what should be the steps of government to ensure quality in higher education? Because recently, Bangladesh government, in joint collaboration with World Bank, established IQAC. So what should be their role in this regard?
Okay, already they are ranked university. We have taken this data from this private university, and this problem arise after government giving some subsidy or giving some fund to by IQAC. So that that should be, we have assumed that already government should given something. Okay, so we did not take this factor. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. So we have three more papers. So that is why we are going to finish very quickly.
Okay, now I'd like to request paper number 497 and self-perceived employability of undergraduate students, Bangladesh perspective. MD Abdul Mohan Chaudhary.
This month you have studied some of the parameters and you are concluding towards some kind of implementation strategy. So in the implementation strategy, it is always found the result of implementation is very less, very low. Suppose we plan for 10% growth, we achieve 1% growth. How to improve it? What is your finding? Thank you.
Very good question. Yes.
Yeah, so my basically suggestion is based on the implications for different stakeholders as government, higher education institution, that is universities, students, so many stakeholders are there. So I am basically suggesting so what they should do, like what should the government do regarding that betterment of or augmenting.
Are you researcher or you are awarded degree? Are you researcher or awarded?
I awarded it as degree.
So, okay, I have worked in implementation of policy for last 29 years. So this was an agriculture implementation policy for development, same development policy. We are seeing the development very slow, 1%. We want students to learn something for employability. It's not easily achievable. We want teacher to develop, it's not easily achievable. We want the industry to spare that time for students who want to get employment, it's not achievable. Can you quantify it? Fix a target. Give a policy recommendation to government, so that government can follow it up. Otherwise, at our level, like as a faculty or as an intellectual, it's very difficult to develop it. We can suggest, they will implement it.
Yes.
So you have to quantify. Sir, this is your target for this year. This was money to spend, and from this level, you should achieve. So that is, you put a marking stick. That is better one.
Yes.
So it can be additional paper for you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for your nice suggestion. Thank you.
Now I would like to request the next paper, 1073, Volunteer Education Program for Underprivileged Children.
There are 5 presenters, or one of
Yeah, Ekwan Islam, Rasul Islam, Ahmed Shahir, Said Muzam, Muzam Hussain. Anyone from that group?
I think they are not.
Okay. group 0985, digital competencies among adolescents. Thank you.
The last group.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Nafisa Muhammad Hassan from University of Technology Mara, Malaysia. I'm a senior lecturer in the faculties of Business and Management. I'm presenting a paper that I've done with my colleague. We got a grant for this paper, Digital Competencies Among Adolescents. Our co-author are here also. So, what is digital competency? So, digital technologies are increasingly being used in our society right now. It doesn't matter where you are, in Malaysia, in US, in Korea, in China, even in Bangladesh, I think. It's also being, it's shaping our economy right now, and this is transforming ways of working, studying, communicating, accessing information, and spending leisure time among others. Most of them are now very engaged to social, social commerce, social networking. Everything is digitized. While many people, especially the Gen Z, growing with the internet technology, we are alarming with the digital competency concern. As we know, everyone is able to use the technology, but are they really competent in using it? In Malaysia, the numbers of active internet users in the country has now exceeded 20 millions, with 16 and 8 millions being active on social media. This is according to our nation statistic in 2016, which is not long ago, it's just 3 years ago. This highlights the need to ensure that everyone has the opportunity from early on their education to see the value of digital tools and media and acquire the skill to use them. Therefore, this study is actually being conducted to investigate the level of digital competence among the adolescents, especially Gen Z, in Malaysia. So what is digital Q? Digital IQ, which is, I call it as DQ, is referring to digital intelligence, which is a comprehensive set of technical, cognitive, and social, emotional competency that enable individuals to face the challenge and adapt to the demand of digital life. So in DQ, they consist of 8 broad areas. One of them is digital identity, use, safety, security, emotional intelligence, communication, literacy, and rights. From these broad areas, they have been divided into 3 levels. One of them is my main focus for today, which is digital citizenship. The second one is digital creativity, and the last one is digital entrepreneurship. So digital citizenship, which is our main focus for today, is the ability to use digital technology and media in the safe environment with a responsibility and effective way. The second one is digital creativity, which can be defined as the ability to become part of the digital ecosystem by co-creating new content and turning ideas into reality by using digital tools. And finally, the entrepreneurship, which is the ability to use digital media and technologies to solve global challenges and to create new opportunities, especially in business. So these are the literature that I got mainly for my research topic, which is the digital citizenship competency, which is we have 8 core. The first one is screen time management, which measure the digital citizenship students' ability to manage screen time, multitasking when doing it, and of course, engagement in various digital media activities with self-control. And the second one is privacy management, which measure the students' ability to handle with the discretion all personal information which they share online. Number 3 is cyberbullying management, which measure the students' ability to detect cyberbully situation and handle them wisely. Number 4, digital citizen identity, measure the student ability to build and manage healthy identity online and also offline for the sake of integrity. Number 5, the digital footprint management, which measure the students' ability to understand the nature of digital footprint and their real-life consequences and to manage their responsibility. Number 6 is to measure the cyber security, where they measure the ability of students to protect their personal data by creating strong passwords in order for them to protect themselves from various scams. Number 7 is critical thinking, where it measures the students' ability to distinguish between true and false information, good and harm content, and of course trustworthy and questionable content online. And finally, the last core is to look at the digital empathy, where measure the students' ability to be empathetic towards one's own and others' feelings online. So what we did is we went to a school to conduct exploratory quizzes, where the students have to take online quiz. We give them 30 minutes to actually answer the question online, and after they answer the question, we also ask them a few questions in the focus group. So we have 5 female students and another 5 male students. We personally pick students in the suburban school so that we don't have biases of rural students and urban students. So the findings of this ongoing research, this is an ongoing research, will be used mainly as a guide for further research, which is the quantitative research framework later on. So these are the results. I'm not sure whether you are able to see it clearly. I hope you can. Is it clear? Not really clear? It's clear with me, but it might not be clear in the screen. But that's okay. I'll try to explain as much as I can. So basically what we did is the result from, we extract the result online, okay? The global average of digital IQ score for these children actually 100%. This is a global index. For national average DQ score for Malaysian is 102. So I hope it's clear. The global index is 100, but for Malaysian index, the average is 102, which is good. We are exceeding the global index. However, from the test, we saw that the school average for DQ score is only 89, which is very alarming. So what are the things that we look is actually, the main concern from the result shows that they should get at least 100 for global index and 102 for national index. But for privacy management, the school children only got 83, that is privacy management. So they are very vulnerable online. And another alarming core is screen time management, this is the most important part, where we can see that these children cannot restrain themselves from the screen time. with only total score of 71. So from that statistic shows that almost all 8 core of the digital IQ, the students fail miserably. So these findings are aligned with another researcher they did in US. It's not working. It's not working. Okay. So this result shows that children need to be assisted in terms of managing the screen time and also protect their privacy when they are interacting online. The test is essential because this DQ test can minimize the cyber risk to students, especially cyberbullying, cybercrime, tracks, false information, and privacy invasion. The digital IQ also will help to maximizing the opportunity, such as students can develop job-related skills when they learn how to read, write, and participate online. But also, not to forget that technology can also furthermore foster entrepreneurial thinking. So I think right now students use a lot of digital technology to sell product online, which is good. So in conclusion, the findings from this study has shed some lights on the performance of digital competency amongst adolescents. The findings also reveal that screen time management and privacy management require attention, formulation. This test is also very essential. So from now on, please, when your children ask you to give them smartphone, ask them to take DQ test online, see the test score, and then you present to them whether they can have the smartphone or not. I think the recommendation is there. Any question from the floor, I'm happy to answer. So right now, what we do is we go school to school first. Thank you for that question. I did not get the time to get the fraction of statistics from the 20 millions, but Generation Z is the one contribute the huge chunk of the statistic, and they are the one who be born from 1990s until early 2000s, which is 2005, 10. So these are the people who are actually huge chunk of the statistic. So these children is not young, they are 16 years above. I call it children because in Malaysia, 18 years and below, they are still children. So imagine that this score representing 16 and 17 years old teenagers, which is very concerning because they actually presented themselves as adult online. They use different names, they use a lot of, I think, false identity. Any other questions?
Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. And we have come to the end of the session. And lastly, I'd like to call our session chairs, Professor Dr. Jabirul Haq and Professor Dr. C.V. Gopinath, to present the authors with certificates.
Request my friend Dr. Gopinath to say the words to thank them officially.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. So very good, nice presentation by young students and faculty of different universities. We got an idea about what is the education scenario in Bangladesh and other neighboring countries. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So I am very sorry that we stopped you asking.
Session chair, Dr. C.V. Gopinath.
Okay.
Our next author is Akmal S. Haider. Mr. Akmal S. Haider. He was okay. So our next author is M.D. Sifat Manzoor. Please give a round of applause for our own student. I'd like to welcome Nasreen Anwar Khan, Aisha Ashraf, and Karish Hamza. Three of you. Now I'd like to call Ms. Nafisa Muhammad Hassan. Now I would like to request our session chairs to stay for a while. Next, MD Abdul Muhit Chaudhry. Sir, he went for the prayer. Sir, he went for the prayers.
And we formulate and we embed all this weight into mathematical formula. So that's the step. Roughly, I already mentioned about the step. We of course we get all these criteria from the literature review as well, but we have to justify with the expert in the area throughout Malaysia. So that's the time that we have to collect our data qualitatively. Then we do ranking and rating. Then only we model using multi-criteria approach. Here we use rank order centroid, ROC, and then we embed this ROC into congruent scoring model. It's a quantitative model. Then it becomes harmony index. Alright, so our first output, the criteria, we found that based on culture, there are 11 important criteria, and based on identity, there are seven important criteria. So from there, we do ranking, we do weight allocation, we use that ROC method, and we arrange this weight according to its importance, from highest to lowest. Lowest mean is maybe not so important. For example, the number 17 and 18 is not quite important to the expert that we have interviewed. level, and we achieve the H, which is the value for the harmony index. Okay, so this is a small sample. Our sample is big. This is one of our initial sample. We are currently still collecting many more hundreds and hundreds of real respondents. But for this data that I got, our initial samples of about 68 respondents only. We plugged it into the formula just now, and in this case we got a value of 7.55. So it is saying that this is part of the ROC. It reflects that we changed the 7.5 to percentage. If it's easy for people to understand to our ministry, thank you with that.
Even though the main crops of Bangladesh is rice, wheat, jute and others, but chili is considered as one of the high-value crops in Bangladesh. Farmers are nowadays focusing on producing fruits, vegetables and spices because the return of these crops is much higher than the regular or routine crops. But there are some challenges that farmers are facing while producing and marketing their crops. The most prominent challenges are the productivity is low, the post-harvest losses are very high, and at the end, most of the cases, farmers are not getting fair prices for their produces. So the objective of my study was reviewing the existing supply chain of spices and evaluate the prevailing practices in the for production and marketing and others. And secondly, the identifying the opportunity and constraint in the supply chain. Then analyzing value chain and finding out the financial benefit cost ratio, what farmers are getting out of it. And finally, addressing the value and the adding value, distribution of value addition of different stakeholders. Say, total value addition is 100. What percentage of that are getting by farmers? What percentage of that are getting by retailers and other stakeholders? So for this study, I had to do quite a good number of literature study. So briefly, I am trying to outline that as well. So the most prominent chili producing countries are in Asia and Africa. And if you look at the figure, Asia is producing almost more than 68% of the production, and the second is more than 20% are being grown by African people, and very minor portion of it are grown in America, Europe and Oceania.
In fact, there are some value addition techniques like using supercritical method, taking out the early regions and getting a higher value. So this kind of recommendation can also be added to the government level, in cooperative level. They can take up some kind of they can make some farmer user group. Government may support, I do not know if government is having such support system. They can go for very high level value addition system. That will definitely benefit the farmer for realization of better price. And the way we have the cooperative system, same way this city can be collected and card may be issued so that the payment is streamlined. It may be waiver or payment or DB direct benefit transfer you are having. So that will make it more smarter and handling cheap. So what is your view regarding this?
Well, at the end, I outlined in my recommendation that we can use modern technology to reduce the post-harvest loss, and also we can develop the capacity of the farmers and assist them to link with the market. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. This is Simrul Kayas. Today I'm going to present on my submitted paper that is entitled as a goal programming approach for balancing and scheduling in an extended manufacturing environment. So in this presentation, I'm going into complexities and challenges in doing their business. Okay, and also competition is nowadays remains no longer a choice. Rather, it becomes a survival means for their existence and also the credibility. And also nowadays the business become more dynamic and even sophisticated in nature. And in this dynamic environment to sustain, there is no other way for the manufacturer apart from making the collaboration or cooperation in between them. And this is the point from where the concept of extended manufacturing environment comes. Okay. So actually the extended manufacturing environment, it is we can say it's like a chain or it's like a network where the supplier, competitors, and even the defined companies, even the customers are collaborate among each other to create the value or to create the end items. So obviously, for this kind of network, it is very difficult to manage the operation rather than the conventional ones. So some of the complexity I'd like to highlight, like the operation for like optimal distribution of workload, and also the logistics problem, how to distribute the raw materials and collect the goods from geographically distributed environment. Also how to sequence the tasks over there. For it, and hope soon come up with the solution for this problem. Okay. Thank you for the presentation because of the time limitation. Okay, if you have any questions.
Any question? Let me ask. This is similar to my area also. Actually, I was going to ask you how you implement it, but now you said you haven't implemented. But you are, what is it you are trying to do as part of your implementation process?
So how to solve this? Actually, there are some techniques to solve. One is multi-phase simplex algorithm.
Are you going to program it yourself, or you're going to use any software?
Software is there is GAMS actually.
Is it reliable that it can be used for this number of variables? Have you tried? Or?
Yeah, I haven't tried yet. But GAMS is actually reliable. I follow.
No, not the software. The software is reliable, but the variable that you have may make the GAMS break down. You know. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether you are still considering software because.
Actually, I'm planning to develop an algorithm.
Yeah. That calls for simplex method to solve it.
Simplex and also another one I chose sequential linear.
Okay. Yeah, but you have. I'm sure you have to do some kind of programming, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You have a question? Yes. One more. Very fast.
Yeah. Coming to this kind of model development.
Yes.
There is one area like sensitivity analysis.
Yes.
So that is very important so far as the stability of the solution is concerned.
Yes.
So we have not highlighted any point of sensitive analysis.
Yeah, because I haven't started
Completed.
solving it.
Yes. So do we use it because that is very important.
Yeah, otherwise we cannot
Yeah, you cannot know like why the solution is given.
Solution.
And one more thing.
And Mohammed Umar Farooq will cover this topic. Basically, simulation concept is not as widely used for in our economy. This was started around 1980 in the Europe. Then later on in 1990 it started in China, Australia and some other countries. In Bangladesh, we started by IPDC in 2004.
So I conducted this research study, and my co-presents are Mrs. B. Chandra and Mrs. K.V.S. Pravina, who worked as colleagues with me. So in my respective college in Andhra Pradesh. So it is a brief introduction about the health sector in Ethiopia. So the health sector was a neglect front, as identified in the research study. Neglect front, the human resources in health sector was neglected. So that's why my research study was focused on this particular area. So, and this is the conceptualized model adopted for my research study. So this is the determinants are pay, promotion, job safety and security, working conditions, job autonomy, relationship with co-workers, relationship with supervisor, nature of the work, which leads to job satisfaction. If you satisfy these determinants, which leads to job satisfaction, and once they attain job satisfaction, and which leads to job performance. This is the conceptualized model. The general objective and the major objective of the study is to identify the various determinants that influence job satisfaction and performance of health professionals in different hospitals of Habasa Administrative Town in Ethiopia. And the specific objectives are as follows. To assess the impact of determinants on job satisfaction and performance of the health professionals in different hospitals. To assess the overall job satisfaction and performance level of employees in various hospitals. To identify the relationship between factors which influence the job satisfaction and performance level of health professionals in hospitals. To offer valuable suggestions to improve the satisfaction and performance level of healthcare professionals. And this is the research, and this is results and discussions. The table 1 is job performance. So whenever the analysis was made, item-wise analysis was done, and mean and standard deviation was calculated. And the table 1 depicts the computed mean of the responses for item 1. Mean 2.17 show that health professionals were satisfied about on whether job made them to use their abilities in the organization. Besides, the computed mean of the responses for item number 2. So mean 2.61 indicate that the health professionals were neutral about whether get ahead if they made the effort in this organization. In addition, the computed mean of the responses for item number 3, mean 5.05 indicate that the health professional overall response mean tends to satisfy. Moreover, from the analysis, the overall performance of the health professionals of hospitals were helped them to deliver quality services effectively and efficiently to the society. So to increase quality of services and to satisfy the customer, the organization should facilitate conditions. And the table 2 explains the overall job satisfaction item-wise. And as shown in table 2, show that the majority of the respondents, the computed mean of the responses mean 2.24 for item number 1 indicate that the health professionals were satisfied and the rate of overall job satisfaction among health professionals in the organization. Besides, the computed mean value of the responses for item number 2, that mean 2.39, indicate that the respondents were satisfied and the current evaluation process of the organization. From the analysis, the level of overall satisfaction of health professionals in hospital industry were in good condition. So the organization should facilitate the conditions to enhance the level of overall satisfaction, as the satisfied health professionals can serve the customers more effectively and efficiently. The relationship between the independent and dependent variables, and independent variables are pay, promotion, job security, working conditions, job autonomy, so relations with co-workers, relationship with supervisors, and nature of work. The job satisfaction is a dependent variable. Pearson correlation coefficient. So here, correlation is significant at 0.05 level, 2 times. As shown in the table 3, the Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.553 for relationship with supervisors indicates the strongest relation with the job satisfaction and followed by job autonomy, with Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.516. But the Pearson correlation coefficient R 2.66 indicates the weakest relation between relationship with co-workers and job satisfaction. Moreover, all the predictor variables have positive relation with job satisfaction. And the relation table 5, the adjusted R2 0.276, which indicate that the independent variables predictors mentioned in the study determine 27.6% variance on the level of job satisfaction, and the remaining other determinants not included in this study determine 62.4% of variance in the job satisfaction. From the table to determine the influence of specific independent variable on dependent variable, we have to identify the highest beta value. From the independent variable, relationship with supervisors has computed beta 0.228. 0.5 has strongly influenced the dependent variable, which is job satisfaction. This shows that relationship with supervisors increased by 1%, increases the job satisfaction by 22.8%. This indicates relation with the superiors have strongest influence on job satisfaction from the given determinants of job satisfaction. And coming to the conclusions. So finally, the overall job satisfaction and performance are in good condition among the health professionals. Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.553 for relationship with supervisors indicates the strongest relation with the job satisfaction and followed by job autonomy with Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.516. But the Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.266 indicates the weakest relation between relationship with co-workers and job satisfaction. Pearson correlation R 0.632 for relationship with nature of work indicates the strongest relation with the job performance and followed by nature of work with Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.629. But the Pearson correlation coefficient R 0.314 indicates the weakest relation between relationship with pay and job performance from the independent variables nature of work with beta 0.834. So positive impact have the strongly influence the dependent variable, which is job performance. From the independent variable, relationship with supervisors as computed beta 0.2.28. So have the strongest influence dependent variable, which is job satisfaction. These are the conclusions. So the black people, but because of the silence of the people by Napoleon. And
then HM impact is okay. Mohammed Ismail Mazumdar. Sir.
Okay.
Maybe we are not able to give the certificates, everyone's certificates right here, but you can collect it from our registration booth. Thank you. And another thing that I would have to hand over, even though I'm not the right person, but I have to hand over the certificates to our session chair.
So thank you, Ismail Majumdar sir, for being here. Thank you, sir. And then, yeah, it's really an honor for me to give a certificate to her. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, now it's time to get a tea break, get a refreshment for 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, we will come here again for our next session. Thank you, everyone.
And why the data analytics? It helps managers to get insights so that they can take right decisions about the business. So what is the scope of business analytics? We have 3 types of analytics, that is descriptive analytics, predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. Descriptive means to understand the past and present with the use of data. Any questions or anything?
If anyone have any question? Anyone have any question? Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Where it is positive. This is the table which shows you the share of development terms and the other top export items of Bangladesh and its growth rate. Here, development terms also is in the top position among them. And in conclusion, I like to say that we have used the data from the BCMEA to analyze the export performance in the government sector. The overall export growth rate of relevant government in this period is 11.8%, which helps to reduce the poverty level of Bangladesh. In this sector, almost 90% workers are female in 4 million government workers, which make government the heart of income of foreign currencies for Bangladesh. It is now the time to keep the position in the world market which Bangladesh has achieved by keeping immediate precautions to avoid any kind of accident like Rana Plaza. That is why we need to provide the safe working place for our workers. Because after the Rana Plaza incident, the 109 accidents have been occurred in our industry sector, and among them the 35 industries were the textile industry. So this is our most successful sector to earn the foreign currencies. So we need to think about our workers. We know that there are the financial support, but life is very important than the financial support. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for the nice presentation. Now, is there any question from audience?
Results in discussion and then conclusion and reference. So background. Tourism is considered as one of the fastest growing industry of the world. It is now currently the 4th largest industry and the global share is 10.4% of the GDP. The most significant economic feature of tourism is that it contributes to 5 high priority economic goals, and these are income generation, job creation, foreign exchange earnings, improvement of living standards and reducing poverty. On the other hand, energy is one of the fundamental prerequisites of modern economies. According to in 2015, it is saying that it is the lifeblood of a modern economy. You cannot run an economy without an energy. And one of the striking features of these two industries is that they are interconnected through different positive channels. For instance, development of tourism sector may increase the economic development. However, it also changes the energy consumption pattern within the economy. And some studies argue that increase in tourism actually increases the energy consumption through different channels. For example, transportation, accommodation, hotel and restaurant, and others. On the other hand, some studies also argue that tourism can be the key of promoting renewable energy. A relatively smaller standard of literature actually talked about this relationship between tourism and energy, and additionally, tourism-energy linkage in the South Asia is somewhat unexplored, and therefore the core objective of our study is to fill the gap.
Special guest and presenter presents here. Good evening to you all. The paper I am going to present today is Impact of Household and Natural Resources Characteristics on Adaptation Behavior, case of tropical cyclone in southern part of Bangladesh, coastal areas in Bangladesh. With me, I have 2 authors present here, Dr. A.K. Anamol Haq announcer, and Sakib Mohammed. We know the natural disaster nowadays has become a very common event in our lives. And this is happening is a result of natural hazard. And that is negatively affecting our lives and leading to loss of many lives, environment, causing damage to the environment, also causing damage to the financial growth of a country. Coastal community in developing countries like Bangladesh are more vulnerable to this natural disaster. Bangladesh is known nowadays land of natural disaster. There are a couple of reasons, but main are because of its climate change, because of its geographical position, and also triangle shaped head of Bay of Bengal, especially for the cyclone. This is one of the main reasons. We can see the Bangladesh located the tropical region in the world map, and the triangle shape of Bay of Bengal. And the historical record on tropical cyclone from various resources that I have found, 1585 to 270 questions, and these were categorized into 10 categories. To collect the data, I have done this on primary data, and to collect this data, I use the Kobo Toolbox software using mobile phone. I have 6 students who help me to collect the data, and this data could be collected offline and online. To estimate the cost, I have used the multivariable linear regression model. My dependent variable is adaptation cost, and independent variables are 11 of them. We can see all of them here. The result, what I found that there are 4 major determinants that really affect the adaptation cost, and these are income, house located outside the polder, natural forest, if there is a house protected by the forest, and the people who are affected by the Rwanda, and also those who are the members of NGO.
Say that you appear to be going slow, but somehow you managed to do it. I don't know whether that is partly because of our lady moderator or it was genuinely that you had a way to finish everything. So first thing, yes, again, those of you who have taken this trouble of writing and reported, doing the research, and whatever opportunity that have been created to present to this audience, I guess we also could not do justice to your efforts by giving comments and observation, but still whatever limited way each of you have received, make best use of it. The experience always counts, so thank you all for contributing and making this conference also successful. Good that we had a very smart moderator, so we could probably complete the program as it was expected.
For being here. Now I'm called. I would like to call upon Mohamedul Haq. Now our last presenter, Kalpana Euphrasia. Now I would like to call our honor. Then Nurul Answer.
First time I got something from my friend.
Thank you everyone.
The presentation. Myself, Abdul Chaudhary from Leading University, Sylhet, and my paper title is Self-Perceived Employability of Undergraduate Students.
from Bangladesh perspective. And here is the presentation outline. I will go one by one. So the study is based on the undergraduate students' perception regarding their employability. So employability is student perception regarding what they will think after completion of their graduation, to what extent they think they will be employed in the job market. And for this study, basically a questionnaire was designed based on the scale developed by Andrew Rothwell from UK perspective, and with some sort of modification for Bangladesh perspective. And after data collection, basically they are analyzed by using SPSS 24, and through data reduction techniques, 4 components were taken into under consideration. And based on the result obtained, discussions will be made. And basically there are 5 research questions involved in the study. The first research question consists of what does the existing research tell us about the existing employee scenario of the students. And second one related to the unique attributes of the students in the labor market composition of Bangladesh. The third one is the factors that impact the students' perceptions. The fourth one is the implication of this study for the students, the higher education institutions, and for the government as well, for policy development. And the last one is for the implication of the research for the employers as well as their prospective employees. So the methodology is based on the, as I mentioned, that's the scale developed by Rothwell, and participants asked to respond in a 5-point Likert scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And the data collection involved the students who are in the 3rd and 4th year of their study, and in total 120 responses were collected, and out of which basically 100 questions were completed. So the result, which is basically the study focused on principal component analysis, and I have taken the correlation matrix where basically presence of many coefficients of 0.3 or above, and KMO measure of sampling adequacy in this study was found at 0.605, and the Barrett's test of sphericity was at 0.00, which means that its factor analysis is appropriate for this study. And only I have taken the factor more than 1 of eigenvalue, and having specified, because here you can see that the factors which is taken further consideration is 21.399, 7.19, and 6.5% of the variance. So here basically this is the factor rotation and of the component matrix, and the next one basically based on the oblivion rotation, 4 reasonably distinct components were identified, and there is the result after rotating again. And so this is the summary of the 2 tables I have shown here. So the 4 components have been identified which affect the students' self-perceived employability. And the first components which comprised in the study corresponding with the university commitment. Basically it states that to what extent university is committed to make their students as employable. And the second component comprised of the items relating to specific career direction, as well as their students' own concern regarding what should be their career. And the third component consists of items relating to long-term career planning by the students, the opportunities they think they have in the market in relation to their ambition, and also to what extent the university is delivering to them. And the last component consists of the items relating to one's personal belief and confidence in the abilities and skills to secure employment of his or her choice. So among the factors I have identified, reputation of the university seems very important to the students, and it resides in both first and second components of the study. And in Bangladesh, from the literature review, I have found that, and from the student perception, students from public universities are still having more priority than those of private university students. And among the highest positive individual loading, that is 0.853, the respondent placed on the item, I have clear goals, what I want to achieve in my life. And in general, the student
student perception is heavily influenced by perception of the university's brand reputation, like from which universities they have been graduated, and the strength more than anything that drives their perception about employability. The next important factor listed relates to the status and credibility of their field of study, like from what major they did their graduation. And also factor listed relates to the status and credibility of the field of study, their self-belief or confidence in the skills they have developed, their demands in the external labor market, the career direction, to what career they intend to go, and university commitment, to what extent the university is delivering them with the employability skill, as well as the individual student's ambition. So there are some major findings mentioned here. So as I have mentioned, university reputation is the most important one, and students themselves are also concerned about their career goals. And some participants also believe that public university students have more priority than those of private university students. And there is a mismatch between the education and the skills required and what the employer are looking for. Academic training opportunities are scarce, the graduates they believe, and some participants want to work within their own city, as because my study is confined in Sylhet city, so participants said that they intend to work in their own area. So it's a major threat for them to augment their employability. And supply of foreign worker is considered as a threat by the local students. And the ratio of jobs available and application lodged suggests that the scarcity of job available. If you are considering one job in banking sector, so there are so many applications lodged in the same time. So there are some suggestions and recommendations for different stakeholders. So I am not going through all these, just one or two suggestions. So for the higher education institution, so they should design their course in such a way so it will be devised based on the industry needs. The schooling system in Bangladesh should be modified, and they should focus more on building foundation skill, improved teaching methods, and job-specific education. And also it is required by the universities to encourage their graduates with extracurricular activities, which in turn result in developing their employability. And government of Bangladesh should prioritize the importance of national higher education, research education agenda, and technology commercialization, as well as corporatization as a means to respond to the needs of the labor market by the higher education institutions. And also there should be change in the focus, like building partnership with those sectors that are not commonly sought by students as their career direction, like non-government or profit organization as well as agro-based organization. And also the Ministry of Education should conduct study on the statistics of employment and underemployment of the graduates and assist government agencies updated so that they can address the issue of employees properly. So here is the concluding remarks from my side. So the perspective of undergraduate students, higher education institutions, as well as the government, as well as from the industry should be sought together so that there should be a collaborative decision regarding employability, because employability is a Western-based concept. It's a new concept from our perspective. And it is also suggested that higher education institution could be benefited from this by developing understanding for restructuring their policies. Restructuring policies of higher education institution means here that is they should devise marketable courses like what the industry needs, as well as developing skills for the graduates. And the last one, I should say that my study has some sort of limitation, like it is based on a particular city, it's Sylhet based. So further I could conduct this study on a national basis or comparing this undergraduate study with the postgraduate one. So thank you for your patience hearing, and again I am thanking you.
Thank you.
We are considering the extended manufacturing environment. And then some researcher found that this balancing concept only help you to assign the task, but it will not tell you how to sequence the process. Okay, so this is another issue that we found. find in 2015. We start working on it from 2015. So we come up with some integer programming model at first that helps to sequentially balance and schedule the extended manufacturing environment. But at the same time, when we try to solve the model, we see another problem. After we start the work, we develop a model and we run it, we solve it, and then we find another problem. That is, the main objective of balancing is to reduce the idle time between the workstation. When the scheduling, the objective of scheduling is to reduce the completion time. That means it may increase the idle time in the workstation. So these are a conflicting objective that we cannot solve since 2015. So we actually solved by integer program. We proposed the integer program, but the solution quality was not that good. So we were thinking how to solve this one. We come up with the idea because there is a conflicting goal. So why not we try for the goal programming approach? So that is why we, in this paper, actually, or we can say in response to this issue, we developed a goal programming model to solve this simultaneous balancing and scheduling problem in extended manufacturing environment. So for developing the model, we consider a simple case. That one we also use during our during the development of our integer program model. First, we develop it with the cooperation of Portugal and also University of South Wales, Australia, and also one Malaysian university where I was studying. International University. So these three universities we work together to solve this issue. So this was the case what we said. So here we can see there is one focal company and there are some three geographically distributed local company. Okay, so the basic problem is that this focal company want to process 12 jobs. Okay, and all these three local company we consider they have only 2 resources. So we try to solve how to balance and schedule this job among these 3 companies so that we can reduce the completion time and increase the efficiency. So
Asian countries, China has invested 88.9 billion in asset-based securities. Next is South Korea, 74 billion, and Japan, 36 billion, whereas Australia was 24.3 billion. We can derive some lesson from the Chinese securitization market. They started basically from the top-down approach. Basically, they are lawmaker. They have enforces how to go for this, and basically they took quite long process to start the securitization. So for Bangladesh also we can think in that way, so to go for top-down stage and slowly. China build market families, not single market. The building of market families will reduce risk. Bangladesh can also follow to some kind of same model to reduce the risk. In Bangladesh, IPDC, United Leasing Company, Industrial Development Leasing Company, Bangladesh Rural Advance Committee have issued asset-backed securities. In November 2004, IPDC has launched the first asset-backed securities in Bangladesh.
Basically, the securities market has developed internationally and is very popular after the financial crisis of 2007. And globally, it's very popular. In China, securities market is well developed, and they are also their shadow banking is also performing well.
Basically, in our country, we are having a trouble with the non-performing loan and classified loan, which is a trouble for all the banks, and they're trying to find out a solution. Now, this concept or securitization concept can give a good solution for removing the non-performing loan from the balance sheet. The model is very simple, and it's, if we just think about a specific example, like four banks, A, B, C, D, four banks are having a non-performing loan or classified loan, and every loan has a security value, or the loan has a mortgage value. So the SPE, the special purpose vehicle, or the enterprise, they can buy those loans at a lower rate. For example, the book value of the loan is 1,000 taka, and they can buy it by 600 taka from the bank. And SPE will just issue the securities against all this loan. Then they will sell these securities to the market, and investor will buy the securities because there is a backed, the securities is backed by the asset. In this model, basically, the bank can reduce their classified loan from their balance sheet, and they can have rid from their unearned balance sheet part. So their non-performing loan will be removed from the balance sheet, and they also can add some profit in their financial statements. And here are some suggestions to improve the securitization market in Bangladesh. Basically, we are a very nascent market, and we need to develop, first of all, the rules and regulations. Otherwise, the market will not be developed, and some corruption may happen in the market. And therefore, the lawmaker, basically the central bank and some other authority, government should take the initiative. In China, we have found that the government has taken the initiative to take up the classified loan from the bank and make it, sell it to the SPE. Then SPE will issue the securities. So in this model, basically the main initiative is the government, not the private institution. They will perform if after making the law and rules and regulation in the market. Then I will suggest to that basically the Minister of Finance and Bangladesh Bank to be involved with it, and National Board of Revenue should be involved with it to make the specific law and formulation of some rules and regulation for the securitization market. Basically, to improve the securitization market, there should be trust and application of the law. For this thing, first of all, internal credit rating system and the external credit rating system is very much essential, because where people is investing, that should be analyzed first. That should be free and fair, so that the people are not investing in the vacuum securities. The security should have the asset value, and the market rules and regulations should be further developed, so that the people will trust that government has the surety in the securitization market, and the people money will be invested with the credibility, and the people will trust the securitization market, and they will invest in the market. Finally, the most important thing is the solution for the classified loan, and it will help to the economy, it will help to overall banking industry. And this model is basically not new, and if we just try to involve with it, and government try to involve with it, basically we will have some solutions of our very basic problem of the banking industry.
First one is OLTP. It is online transaction processing. If you go to a supermarket, you take a product from the supermarket, then you go to the point of sales. Then immediately do some operations in the computer. The online transaction processing means when you go for the ticketing, that is booking tickets, airline tickets or railway station for booking tickets. This OLTP, that is a transaction data. Then the other is the analytical processing. Analytical processing means the data is held as data cubes, so that multiple analysis is possible, queries are possible. Whereas in the case of OLTP, it is only a transaction processing. No complex queries are possible in OLTP. But OLTP is for analysis.
Help to lead the poverty of Bangladesh. And according to the become 23rd economy in the world, which will overcome Thailand, Australia, and Netherlands. This is why it is very important to know the growth rate accurately, to make the prediction precisely for the future policy making, ensure sustainable growth continuously, and uphold the economic prosperity of the country. So this is my research objective, to justify and identify the suitable method to calculate the growth rate. There are a lot of methods, but I will show here 3 methods. And further make the forecast for a short period of time by using time series data. So here I told before, 3 methods I use: geometric method, exponential method, and regression method, that is called also log linear method, to find the overall growth rate and making the prediction also. Here I use the data from Bangladesh Bank, from the GDP of Bangladesh, secondary data. And then by using different methods, I calculate the growth rate and make the prediction. After calculating the growth rate, I have there is a statistics one method that is called RMSE, root mean square error. I compare 3 methods. So which method have less error? That method I call the best method. And then I suggest for the forecasting. So analyze the GDP of Bangladesh at current price and the constant price. Current price, that is mean doesn't consider the inflation, and constant price, and found that the last 12 years Bangladesh economy has did very well. And in current price it increased 4 times, but in the constant price it increased twice. Also, if I consider growth rate, year by year growth, this is the normal arithmetical growth rate, no geometry. Year by year growth, also we found that growth is very well, and current rate is 12%, and constant price is above 5%. This is a simple analysis. And then using the 3 methods, regression method, geometric method, and exponential method, I calculate the growth rate for the current price and the constant price, and you can see the figure. It is the overall growth rate over the last 12 years, 2006 to 2017. Overall, not the yearly growth rate. And on this growth rate, then I make the prediction of the data. That is, I make the prediction, and after making the prediction year by year, then I make the RMSE, root mean square error. And if I see the graph, you will find by 3 methods almost close and not so different. If you see our GDP expressed in, that is I saw it was last 2 lakh 50 million, 50 lakh 2 lakh 50,000 lakh. But here if I found in the current price it is 90,000, 80,000 like that. But if we found, you can see that the RMSE for which is other geometric method is the least smallest one. The 3 methods, if you can compare, they are not so different. They are very close, because the 3 method is the widest, most popular method. But if you see there, almost they are very close. But the geometric method giving the lowest RMSE. RMSE means lowest error. So this is for I can say the geometric method model is the more accurate to forecast the data according to this by RMS.
So basically, I was the National Board of Revenue, the chairman. So I got inside view, a policy maker for a long time. So tax structure of tobacco products in Bangladesh is a very complex and varying. So it's a lot of investor retail prices, cigarettes, 40 years, complex multi-ad excise, VAT, all these things. Large variations in tax base and tax rates between cigarette brands and across. Standard 15% VAT, and there is the health development surcharge, 1%. So this is, if you look, this is the tobacco tax structure, the current tax structure. And if you go there, the 4 tiers, low, medium, high, premium. BD is again 2 tiers without filter, with filter. And smokeless tobacco is Jorda Gul, and Shada Pata is not within the. And you see there are a lot of variations. From 35 cigarette varies up to 105. This is per packet of 10. And bidi is very cheap. The smokeless tobacco has not the maximum retail price. It is a tiny value, a small value, because of the pressure. So if you look around the neighboring countries, the base price of cigarette is the lowest other than Pakistan. You see the base price, Pakistan has a point. This is purchasing or parity, some calculation is there. WHO, Bangladesh is second lowest, Indonesia, other countries are much bigger. So our prices are very low base. Though the tax is high than there are many countries, but the base is low. That's why it is affordable to everyone.
Here, if you look at here, the supply chain of the chili, the production, chili farmer, in the backward linkage, they are being assisted by the extension agents, then the research bodies of Bangladesh, and also the input suppliers. Input suppliers are providing them then seeds, fertilizers, pesticide, and others. And after production, the produce is going to the collector, wholesaler, retailers, and finally it is going to the consumer. I had to do quite intensive value chain analysis for this. If you look at here, the data basically for 1 biga, 33 decimal, the production cost is analyzed here. 3 minutes, okay. I have 3 minutes more. So the benefit cost ratio, through this analysis, I came up that the benefit cost ratio is 1.14 to 1. And the added value are being distributed among farmers, traders, and retailers. The farmers are getting only 13.33% of the added value, but most of the added values are being taken by the retailers, and which is more than 50%. The retailers is consuming the 50% of the added value, even though farmers are working hard to growing the chili. Okay, so there are different marketing channels. I have identified at least six marketing channels here. I cannot elaborate this that much. And what are the opportunities here? The growing demand of the chili, that's one opportunity. And there are some parts of Bangladesh are growing chili. Very, very good land for chili growers. And also the farmers are considering the chili production commercially. And because chili production is a cash crop, you know. And the constraint, we have identified some challenges here. The constraint are the plants are highly sensitive to the rainwater. When heavy rain, then there is a chance the all farmers will lose all the year. And lack of knowledge of post-harvest management. So post-harvest loss is very high, and farmers are not getting fair price, as I mentioned earlier. These are the challenges. I am almost end of my presentation. The conclusion, what we have found out here. The post-harvest loss is very high, a lot of middlemen are there, and farmers are not organized. That is why they are not ensuring fair price. Some middlemen, they are taking the highest part of the grown product, and BCR, benefit cost ratio also 1.14:1, and the most of the added value is going to the middleman. Farmers are getting only 13.33%. This is really frustrating. And the recommendation, I have only 3 recommendations here. We must enhance the capacity of the farmer. We must ensure that they are using modern technology for increasing productivity. Post-harvest, using modern technology for post-harvest management. And finally, farmers should be organized and linking them directly to the market. That's the end, the references. I have a few references here, and that's the end. Thank you very much for hearing.
Okay.
Respected Chair, and dear participants and other dignitaries. First of all, I would like to place in record my sincere gratitude for giving me an opportunity to be here for this international seminar. Especially, I thank Professor Dr. Mahmoud Habib, who's a close friend of mine, who invited me for this. I would also like to put in record the way in which this international seminar is organized, exemplarily organized. So I am going to present a topic. This is not a research paper. This subject is business analytics, liberating the power of data. Why I have chosen this? You know, in our place, this data analysis has already been introduced for the BTech level. But only very recently, the business analytics has been introduced as a core topic for the management level. And I also happen to deal with subject for the first time in Kerala, because I have got more than 46 years of experience in government, industry, and as well as research. So they invited me for handling this subject at APJ Abdul Kalam University when they introduced this subject for the management MBA program. I will rush through the topic because the time is very limited. So, for an industry or a business to function, decision is very important. Decision making is very important. That is, we want smooth functioning of the organization, performing the task efficiently, as well as it is to be done on time. And the most important task, as I told, is decision making. Whether it is by intuition, now in this competitive world, ask for the collection of data. Then we have the unstructured data from different sources, video, chats, research paper, etc. The semi-structured, there are structured data, that is from OLTP interface, SQL table, Excel sheet, database, etc. And what is business analytics? That it is analysis of an enterprise data on multiple perspectives and to gauge and enhance the performance. That is the ultimate job of the business analytics.
Informality in research, and more problem, because I was the chairman, conflict of interest among policymakers, especially members of the parliament. If you look at the Article 83 of the Constitution, that stipulates that every enactment of anything related to tax must pass by the parliament, imposition and collection. So our hands were tied, and it is some members have got a business and different MPs and our senior officials. Out of 9 board members of British American Tobacco, 6 are senior officials from the Ministry of Finance.
Surrounded by forest. there's a difference of cost is 5,270 taka. And the houses located inside the polder and house located outside the polder. And there's also difference of cost is a 6,169 taka. And houses built on lowland and highland, they also have the difference of cost which is 3,227 taka. So that really shows that what factors, what characteristics that influence a householder to make decision to spend more money or less money. I also try to find the elasticity of the adaptation cost, and I see that income is highly related with this adaptation cost.
Response and immediate response of the disaster comes from the local level and the household level. The government comes later on, disaster ministry. So I think that was, I don't know, training, awareness is the most important thing for adaptation. Secondly, what is your plan? Do you have any plan to use the panel data and see after 4 or 5 years the impact or result in the same places? Would you like to go back using the panel data to see? There might have been some flood again after 2 or 3 years. So is there any plan to go there to study the area?
Yeah, I would love to do this.
And first for the training one, what is
putting training is that will be another good thing to see how real is helping that.
Then please come over here, Farhan Khan.
Warren, I mean, you probably lost your magic, so you are out of touch. So if you invested, let's say back in 1995 in Berkshire Hathaway, that's where you will be versus if you invested in General Electrics or AIG. Now, they're doing the same thing. I just read an article this morning on Financial Times, and they're saying that although Warren Buffett generated a return of more than 3,000% since 1980, but of late, they're just underperforming. If you look at the shaded area from 2000, probably 8-9 to 2016-18, so he's underperforming. So value actually, so it's not something new. I mean, if you look at data, and we looked at data, and then it happens, I think, 6 times since World War II. Value actually underperformed, and it bounced back again. So we try to understand the reasons behind this underperformance. So economic environment is one, and probably you know, in North America, we are living in a very low cost interest, so low interest rate. So when the interest rate is low, value will underperform, and growth will outperform. So that's probably the reason. And so the lower rates have supported the outperformance of growth. Stocks, falling rates suggest a weaker economy, creating a headwind for economically sensitive value stocks. So that's one. 2 would be, next slide, please. 2 would be share buyback. So if you look at we looked at the data, and if you look at S&P 500 and the buyback, so over the years, S&P, so 500 companies, they actually bought a significant amount of their shares from the market. So in 2018 only, that's more than $650 billion of share buyback. So if companies keep buying back their own share from the market, so investors will not find many stocks or desired stocks in the market. Either they have to pay a higher price or they don't get a chance to buy because there are not many. And another reason is the composition of index. So if you look at a value index and how it has been composed. So we took 2. One is Russell 100 value and another one is Russell 1000 growth. So in Russell 1000 value, I think financials, energy, and healthcare represent a major portion of the index. And these are the 3 sectors underperformed in the last decade or so. The reason why value indices are underperforming. Now also, probably some of you know that we're just moving from price to book or book value. So we are entering into a new economy where the industries or companies are asset-light economies. So if you look at the companies that probably some of us talking, Uber, okay, And then Lyft just got listed, and they have a valuation of $16 billion last time I checked. If you look at their balance sheet and look at the asset, there are not so much assets. So if you're looking for fixed asset, you will not find anything there that will add up to $16 billion. So the intangibles are playing a vital role. So, okay, computing power is another reason. It's very easy to search the entire stock universe to get your stocks and go from there. So it's not like 1930s, and you do your homework and find the undervalued stocks. Funds flow, so people are getting funds out of active investment and getting into passive investments. So they will certainly sell something. So these are the reasons why we believe value will bounce back. So I think I'm already out of time, so I would rather welcome some questions if you have any.
Your nice presentation. And we have got here 5 papers here, 4 papers here. And as we wanted to explain here or to discuss, but due to paucity of time, we could not give sufficient time for you. But one thing is that whenever we'll discuss the research paper, I think something we will need to take into consideration. Whenever we will do empirical research, we must follow inferential statistics. Okay. Another thing is that just we will mention and we will see the theoretical perspective that will underpin your research. Otherwise, it will never be completed research. And either we will try to enhance or expand the existing theory, or we will give a new theory. Otherwise, we cannot accept as the research. Another thing is, at first we will have to identify the research gap. That is important, very much important for doing any research. Okay. But as we have short of time and we cannot discuss much here about research, but I think you will have your feedback from this discussion, and we will proceed on with our research, of course. Thank you very much for giving me time here and for presentation here. We will see you again in future. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for wonderful presentation session. Now I'm actually going to request our honorable session chair to give the certificate to the participants. Yes, those who are not getting the participants getting the certificate here, they can collect it from our registration booth. So, sir, can you please have here to give the certificate?
Ma'am, please.
Next, I'm requesting Mr. Abu Bakr Siddiq, Vice Chancellor of United International University.
The second session today, 2C. So we're going to have our 2 session chair. We are very glad to have them. So I'd like to introduce with you first. So first, Professor Dr. Arvinder Saha. He is the professor from Department of Accounting and Information System from Islamic University, Kushtia. Thank you, sir, for being here. And second, we have Dr. Mohammad Safia Saad. He is actually the lecturer of UAM in international business. He has the special experience in merger and acquisition, and he has got previous experience in fund management and manufacturing. So we are very glad to have you, sir. So I'd like to ask the presenter 0597. Are you here? 0597. And 0613, the paper ID 0613. You are here. Okay. Sir, would you give the permission to start with them? Okay. Sir, can you start? Okay, 0613. Kanis, Sakina, and the rest of you. So you are supposed to give your files at here and then you have to start, yeah? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Professor Dr. Aravind Shah, Dean Faculty of Business Administration, Islamic University, Kustia. In front of me, Professor Salahuddin, former Governor of the Bangladesh Bank. I respect him, I honored him, and I remember nice at present he's at this session. An honorable paper presenter, and all of you are thankful. We are getting number of 8 papers. Will be presented by you. We have another chair, Mr. Saad, will say anything more later on. But time is very short because of that. Next another session will be performed by the another session. That is why we are trying to best to complete the paper within very short time. In a nutshell, you will try to explain your idea. That will be better as well as to complete the session within the very limited time. That is why how many times that is we are looking number of not less than 10 minutes or not more than 10 minutes like that. You will try to complete your paper within 8 to 10 minutes, considering the time. Thank you very much. Firstly, I would like, second, Mr. Saad is speaking now to deliver his speech before the starting of the session.
Pressure and the beta, we have seen that almost also we have calculated the beta, and we have seen that 9 out of 24 mutual funds are performing, have a beta of more than 1, and the other rest of the mutual funds, they have a beta which is quite closer to 1 but not less than 1. So by this we can understand that in Bangladesh most of the mutual funds, they are not performing as expected, and maybe this is because of negligence from our government, or due to the fund managers' decision making. This has been going on. So basically we did this research so that investors can understand which industries are performing good, and they can understand which mutual funds should we invest in order to get a less risky return from them. So that was basically our paper. Can we, it would be really good if we can get some questions from you.
This to measure the for mutual funds. So this is the methodological choosing the methods. How do you choose the methods?
But to cluster
the purpose of our study.
My suggestion actually is to take a look at some other sophisticated method what is cited on recently by which you can measure also performance. Then you can find out the way which one is appropriate. Because maybe it is also literature, in literature Sharpe ratio is also over there. So this is my another suggestion. Thank you very much.
You are looking at the searching matter because of that. Mutual fund, this is not available in our country. But what is your suggestion? Next, after you will try to make the suggestion for the betterment of your paper as well as for the betterment of our country also. Okay, thank you. Yes. Next paper, 0721, which is affecting factors for the fluctuating in stock price, will be presented by Nisat Tasneem.
And also, I have mentioned before that if my competitor are performing better than me, then our consumer will switch to that company, and in that case, share price may vary. And the second thing is the government policies. Government is imposing their rules and regulations in different time, so it also may the reason for what share price may vary. And next thing is news related with the company. The management, when the management of a company is changing, then the share price will change because they will impose different rules and regulations for what the share price will change. And when the company is introducing a new product line, then the share price may vary because, for example, if a company is adopting a new product, and what if that product doesn't perform that much expectation or doesn't fulfill that much expectations, so the overall portfolio of that company, the balance sheet, the income statement is not that much good according to their expectation. So in that case, the performance won't be that much higher, so the profit won't be that much higher, so the share price may fall because of less demand. And executive appropriate accounting system. This is if a few companies are following GAAP and few companies are following IFRS. In that case, there is no similarities for what the evaluating system may vary. So there might be a misinterpretation regarding price changing and earnings. This is basically how much money is offering the company to the investor in return. It also a vital factor for share price changing or fluctuation, because when investor will found that one product, they are getting more earnings from one product, they will go to that product, or they will make their investment to that product. So these are possible factors, and other remaining factors will be run by my other co-author. Thank you.
Thank you, Nishat Tasneem, and I'm Ahmed Najim Khan Chaudhary, and our topic is already said by Nishat Tasneem that we are focusing on the factors we are affecting the change of share prices. Because of time shortage, I'm going to read it faster. And among all the factors, we all know that the economic factor is the major factors, and economic factors consist of two factors. One is microeconomic factors, another is macroeconomic factors, and also the economic booming. And we all know the economic booming. When the economic booming, then at that situation, people have more money and people purchase more shares. So the investors are more interested to purchase the shares. So at that time, the share price increases. On the other hand, when the economic recession is going on, and during that time, investors are reluctant to purchase less share because of recession. They doesn't have that much money, and or they are not able to purchase that much share. That's why at that time the share price decreases. Another factor is the political factors. We all know that when the political government becomes changes, and they also change in their rules and regulations, and also when the rules and regulation changes, investors have become curious, and also they are afraid to invest money on the business sector.
So at that time, it also affects the share prices and also the inflation. When the inflation going on, people purchase more share, and when they purchase the more share, people companies are getting when they purchase more products, companies are getting more profit, and so their share price become increases. On the other hand, another factor is affecting in the fluctuating share market. That is getting comments from their familiar person, because we all know that when our colleagues advise us that when the which price is going to higher and which share market is going to fall, we are taking their advice, and these things also help to fluctuate the share market. And another factor is the currency. Currency is the main factor, because when companies are going to export and import products from another country, and when the dollar fluctuates, it also affect their profit. So when they're getting more profit, the customers, investors are purchase more shares. So share price become increases. But on the other hand, when the companies are losing their profit, at that time, similarly, investors are reluctant to purchase their shares. So at the time, the share of that particular company become decreases. In this short time, I couldn't cover all the factors, but besides these factors, there are some other also factors which also affect the share price. Thank you, everyone, for patiently listening with us. Thank you.
Dear audience, any question?
Yes, it's fully understood the research.
But okay, what I want to say, I understood you. The factors what affecting the stock price, at least there are many more factors what you described here. But among them, which are actually really significant or not, at least you can try about that.
Okay.
And on one more notice, the investors of USA worried for 45th, President Donald Trump. This is a recent president, but you are talking about the 2010 and 11.
Yes, that was
so
the Enron crisis. Are you talking about this? Enron? And this is the following different financial rules like GAAP and IFRS. They are following different financial rules for what? There was a misinterpretation among the shareholder and the investor or the share issuer. So there was a big factor. Are you talking about that?
Actually, a political factor you mentioned about President Donald Trump, but how you can relate the year of 2010 and right now 2019, that is the contradiction. And the particular suggestion is once you come out with the findings, looks like there are the few factors. That is the literature only.
Please use handset.
So these are from literature. In literature you have find the availability, but when you talk about the research findings, either this factor is really significant or not affecting the stock prices.
Yes.
That is the research. What I would say.
Mentioned in over any analysis. Further, if situation demands that, we will go for Yeah, because that was Yes. My first paper was regarding
Besides Enron, there is another famous guy who is the company.
Thank you very much. Initiative is good one. Okay. Thank you. Next I would like to introduce the name. Paper ID 725. 725. That is an analysis of financial reporting systems of Islamic financial institution in Bangladesh. Will be presented Mr. MD Saiful Islam et al.
And beloved mentors, Dr. Salahuddin sir, and their audience, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mr. Saiful Islam, lecturer, Department of Finance and Banking, National University. And today I would like to introduce with this financial reporting system in Islamic Bank in Bangladesh. And actually, I'm going to discuss about this topic, introduction, research objective, methodology, and discussion and conclusion. I'm just go through this way. And now come to point. And what is the financial statement? And at first of all, financial statement process of produce a statement that disclose the organization financial status of the company or organization to the stakeholder. And stakeholder, it may be our common people, it may be organization, it may be investor. And financial reporting is Islamic perspective. Actually, we are just trying to do something on the context of our Islamic perspective. That's why we are just choosing this topic as a financial statement analysis for the Islamic banking. Then here, in the our country is a Muslim country, that's why we are just Asian countries, more of the countries involved are Muslim. That's why we have to analyze this on the based on of our verse of Quran. There is a lot of things behind our Holy Quran. We have refer Surah Al-Baqarah 282. There is a if you go for the any kinds of contact to others people, you have to write down with the two witness. Otherwise, don't go for the any kinds of contact to others people. This is the meaning of this verse. That's why we just discuss about this and written here. And we have discussed, we have studied a lot of research paper. We find out that there is no paper about the Islamic principles, standards, and others. That's why we are just choose this topic as our research. And research objective. Actually, there is a broad objective as a specific objective. We are trying to analyze our financial reporting practice in Islamic bank in Bangladesh. Actually, we are used in our commercial traditional bank, used in the Western countries statement. But in our Islamic banking system, we don't use the Islamic ethics. That's why we are just trying to do something in the context. There is a lot of specific, we have a broad objective analysis, and there is a supporting objective. There is a lot, just, we are time constant, I'm just skip this one. Then literature review. A lot of scholars discuss about the matter. Actually, a lot of tasks done by our Malaysia. Malaysia is a lot of tasks about this matter. But in our country, we are just 94% Muslim, but we haven't enough analysis on this matter. That's why we are just going to discuss about the matter. A lot of scholars discuss about the matter in various countries. I have just chosen there. You just see here, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, and India. There is a lion's share of majority person is a Muslim. That's why we just choose this one, and also findings of various. And this is why therefore we have to choose this one on the context of Bangladesh. We have to only for the Islamic banking in Bangladesh, not for others. And that's why we are just trying to do something for this context. And research methodology, we have used secondary and primary both of data we have used in this our research, and we have used also a structured questionnaire, and we have used collected primary data from our 7 Islamic bank in Bangladesh, excluding 4th generation bank, which one is Union Bank. We have excluded from this from our research for collected primary data. And we have selected the from each and every bank from 10 executives from the top authority, and collect our primary data. And we have also used here Microsoft Excel as well as our SPSS as a average score model, and also we have used for our analysis of our primary data. And result and discussion, we have used a various reference with this. First of all, what is the significance Islamic ethical issues in financial reporting system? Why we're going to study such kind of topic in for us and for our banking sector? And first of all, we have a lot of reference behind this. That's why we have just raised the point. It's Islamic ethical issues in financial system. Then we have just discussed in this matter. There is a 17 points, principles we have used for the find out the significance of ethical issues in primary Islamic banking. Islamic banking is to prepare the financial reporting system. A lot of we have discussed only primary data. We have analyzed this one. All of this point about this. Is that point? About this we have find out here. Majority principles has more than 4. That's why I just pointed this one is a significant for our analysis. Second one, applying Islamic principles of financial reporting system. Really we have applying this principle or not? Just we have justified this one for our respondent. Respondent response to us, and we have just find out this one. This is a positive for our, and here adequate or inadequate or not. That is, this is or applicable or not applicable. We have just justified this one for our respondent. Then categories of financial reporting objective from the Islamic perspective as viewed by the practicing accountant. That means we are just going go through our primary data when just discuss with our accountant, the various according those who are practicing in the banking sector. We have just discussed about the matter and just put the questionnaire. They will just give the opinion. Then we just analyze this one. We get the some output. That was also they have to emphasis on this. We have to practice, but until today they are not practiced at all. Then examine the degree of awareness of the majority component of the financial reporting system among the practitioners. That means whether they are aware or not, we have to just justify this one. Someone is aware and someone is not aware. That's why just trying to do something, just awareness among the practitioner people. Then identification of the applicability of the good characteristics of FRS in the Islamic financial organization. That means we have to find out some point attributes and good qualities. We have just find out some points. That's why I'm just skip some slide for time constraint. Then we have just kind of actual practices, whether they are used this or not. We have just justify this from they have to use, but not concerned about the Islamic context. Then global responsibility and accountability, also our picky pointing to find out our research finding, and also need for the training program and executives. Actually, they have arranged a lot of training program, but in absence of the Islamic context. That's why we just find out whether they are arrange this program with the Islamic ethics or not. Just we are justify this one. But we are found findings is they are not concerned about the Islamic ethical or ethics. And effectiveness of training program, they are not effective actually. They should find out this one. It's not effective, not most of them. And conclusion, actually we just find out this one. A lot of things, just awareness, expertise, all among these people, they have to find out the. We have find out some point that is the. Actually, is need to awareness in our practitioner accountant. Then it will be just applicable for the fathers in our financial report. And actually, a lot of the things we have just find out reliability, accuracy, full disclosure, and transparency, understanding, verifiable. A lot of things we have just justified this one. They have think that it is very much needed to our Islamic concern, because we are the majority Muslim country. That's why we have to apply this our financial reporting system to in the ethical issue, Islamic ethical issue. Otherwise, our confidence and customer confidence will be declined and lose, and our banking sector will be just malfactor in our future. That's why, and this is the most important for our country. That's why just research, and we have to further. If someone just want to or interested to further research, that time you will include our commercial bank or traditional bank also. I mean, just we also we are only discuss about the Islamic context, Islamic bank only, and you can go for our commercial bank also. Okay, thank you so much for your patient hearing. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Is there any question?
is a basic question because as a customer of Islamic banking, I sometimes really query how do you calculate the compounding rate and all that because that.
No, sir. It's just only for just financial reporting.
No, I get your point, but it's not really a completely full analysis at that point.
Sir, we are not go for the analysis. We are just justify that incorporate with the accountant whether they are apply the ethical issues with the financial report or not. In this report, this final report will be go for the stakeholder. Stakeholder means your common people, customer, or your others investor, or go for the management, others management level. They will apply this one.
I like your conclusion that is
Graduation and post-graduation from Bangladesh, and currently I am doing my job at Danish Refugee Council. So today my research topic is determining factors affecting the influence of financial stakeholders, an empirical study on the Islamic banking in Bangladesh. So before starting my presentation, I want to give a clear idea regarding what is Islamic banking. So it's a process regarding it's based on Sharia-based product, which is mainly practiced by Islamic law. And as a people of Muslim majority country, we want to always keep ourselves safe, as we want to keep our asset or money in safe zone. So due to time shortage, I am skipping my introduction part. So the objective of this paper is to, we don't have enough maximum information regarding the influential factors which influence our investment in Islamic banking. So I want to complete the research gap in this sector. So methodology. I have chosen topmost four influential bank in Bangladesh, and based on their annual report, I have took all the data from 2013 to 2017. So doing this research, the following model has been developed for this study. So ROA, return on asset, which was dependent variable, and size, profitability, and deposit was independent variable. So size is the ownership of asset by bank. Then profitability is the earning, which is greater than expense, and deposit, which is the different kind of Sharia-based product. So after doing the multiple regression analysis, so these are the all variables I have got from the annual report. So in Al Arafa Islamic Bank, so here we can see that multiple are adjusted are. Is it clear? Oh. Oh. Okay, multiple are adjusted are, and everything was near to 1. So near to 1. So we can say that independent variable and dependent variable is fit on each other. So in this section, only profitability is significant because the p-value is near to 5 and lower than 5%. So here the profitability only fitted on dependent variable. Yes, sir. Sir, here. Oh, 0.99. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Okay, then in Islamic Bank, the scenario in regression statistics is as same as the before. So it's multiple R regression, multiple R adjusted R is near to 1. So dependent variable and independent variable is fitted on each other. And in Islamic Bank Bangladesh, only profitability and deposits are statistically significant because it's near to 5% and lower than 5%. So profitability and deposits are fitted on dependent variable. Then Social Islami Bank, unfortunately there is none of the variables are statistically significant because every size, profitability, deposit, all are exceed in 5%. So here there is not any variable. And Shahjalal Islami Bank, the scenario is as same as Social Islami Bank. So finally, I can say that only profitability and deposit could be a strongest influential factor to convince the stakeholder to invest more in Islamic bank. And there could be some more implication to find out more variables. So here is my reference. And thank you. That's all from my part. If you do have any question, please feel free to ask.
Any question? In fact, you will try to develop your paper. Because of that, Professor Salahuddin speaking earlier, this is the unusual. That is, what does it mean, 99%? What does it mean? Is it favorable or is it unfavorable? Can you speak me?
Yes. I don't know the regression analysis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Due to shortage of time, I am repeating the speech. I would like to, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to invite SM Rifat Hossain, that is paper ID 597, impact of internal factor of banks ROE. That is paper ID 0597. Available.
Sakina from Brack University. I, along with my team, are present here to present our paper, Estimating Country Risk Premium and its Significance in Context of Bangladesh. Now, a rational investor, when he invests, will take some risk into account. Liquidity risk, reinvestment risk, and such risk such as that, but he will not consider a certain risk when he is investing in his own country, but when he is investing in a different country, he will have to consider a certain type of risk, and that is country risk. Country risk is that risk that arises when an investor invests in a foreign country. And it is also very significant because without considering this risk, an investor will never know how much actually the risk he is taking, and that way he will not know how much return to expect from his investment. And this risk is also affected by a lot of macroeconomic factors. So we have summarized some macroeconomic factors, and we have compared Bangladesh with 4 other South Asian countries to see how Bangladesh stands in performance of these macroeconomic factors. And these macroeconomic factors show that Bangladesh is in an average position in their performance of macroeconomic factors. So this means that macroeconomic factors are really influencing the country risk premium. That's why we have to calculate the country risk premium for Bangladesh. And that's what we did in our paper. And this rate, and the objective was that this rate will give the foreign investors a quantitative measure to measure or to analyze these extra risks that they will be taking when they invest in a foreign country. So for our methodology, we use all the secondary data that is collected from Dhaka Stock Exchange, IMF, and World Bank, and we use the blue chip index of Bangladesh, that is DS30, and for USA we took Dow Jones index. For our calculation, the formula is given by Aswad Damodaran in 2003, and the formula he suggested was to divide the standard deviation of a certain country by the standard deviation of a threshold that we took as USA, and the product that comes from it is then multiplied with the risk premium of USA, and that risk premium is subtracted from the product to get the rate of a country risk premium for a country. And for Bangladesh, we have found it is 5.30% from our calculation, whereas PRS Group has also given a for this risk in Bangladesh, and that is 5.09%, and it has also given some other countries' rates. So we can see that Bangladesh is quite performing. Depending on the macroeconomic factors, it is quite in average position. But if the macroeconomic factors are given more thought or are controlled better, then the risk will also reduce. So from our paper, we got the rate, and this rate will help foreign investors to consider Bangladesh as an investment grade country. These are our references for our paper, and that would be all. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Paper presenter, your reference is not good at all because of that. It is not properly mentioned exactly.
Okay, sir.
That is, reference should be provided as per rules of a research background, okay?
Okay, sir.
In addition, yes. Like so many systems are there, APA style, MLA style,
Right, sir, right.
Chicago style,
Yes, sir.
like that. You will try, you will try, okay? We are nicely, you are nicely presented in your paper. Due to shortage of time, we are unable to ask any question and give the answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Last paper, this is the, I am telling 1153. Available here. Paper ID 1153.